my name is Dr. Muhammad Ali, and I'm here with Pain Free Lives to discuss some topics related to pain, rest, and recovery. So, one of the biggest problems I have with patients when they ask me what's going on with their problems in their neck or their back or their hip, whatever it may be, if they're having pain, they generally don't want to move because that may seem to make the pain worse. So, while this is okay for a short period of time, maybe a week, or something in that range, generally you have to become active again for things to get better. Laying around will not actually improve your pain. You tend to actually lose muscle mass over a couple weeks. You could lose, 10, 20% or more of your muscle mass, which is not good. And it seems counterintuitive, but if you rest an injury for too long, you will actually weaken your muscles and make things worse. So what do we do about this? Generally, first we have to assess what's going on. So pain may be due to a work-related issue. It may be related to posture or ergonomics in the house or in the office or in the car or in the train if you live in New York City. And you're using the bus or the train to get around. Generally, these things, the hard seats on the train or the bus, or maybe your car doesn't have the greatest cushion anymore if it's a little older, depending on what type of seats it has. This generally ends up causing a problem for patients when it comes to their back, their neck, even their shoulder. You might lean on one side when you drive, etc. And this can cause a problem. So again, we have to assess these things in the clinic. We just go through some things with the patients in terms of watching them while they're sitting, standing, walking to see what kind of bad habits they may have posturally. And these are things that you need to correct. And obviously, you need to try to recover and address those concerns. So some specific examples kind of to tie this up. If you're an Uber driver, maybe you sit all day long and you have back or neck problems. So if you have this problem because you're sitting all day and you're in a hunch forward posture in the car and or your back is hurting from sitting all day long and you have poor cushion, this tends to happen a lot. I've had a lot of my people pick me up in an Uber and then come back to my office for treatment. This is very common, especially here in New York City, just because of the commute and the other issues. So you just have to assess what's going on with the patient, what they're doing during their day. Maybe their job is driving around. If you drive a bus or a car or something like that all day for work, that's going to be a problem for you sitting there and in terms of leaning to one side or your neck in a poor position. And these things generally can cause you significant problems over time. It's a cumulative effect of all of these micro insults to your body, either your spine or otherwise. So you have to do some exercises for your cervical spine, your neck, your lumbar spine, your lower back to try to prevent this. This is generally what I would say would be your best bet, is to try to prevent this, get in front of it by doing exercises, etc. This can generally help you and can definitely help you to prevent the pain. Half an hour in the morning of doing some stretches, 10 minutes of stretches, another 20 minutes of exercises can help you. And again, all these exercises for back or neck pain can be found on our Instagram. There's a bunch of reels there for exercise tips, etc. All the content is there. Another example would be maybe working from home. So a lot of people work from home in New York City and otherwise. So if you're sitting all day long, maybe you have a poor desk, a poor chair, or your monitor is not adequately arranged for you to not have pain in your neck. So these types of things can cause you a problem. Your monitor height, generally your eyes should be level with the top 1/3 of the screen. If you're looking at a monitor, you can adjust the desk, the monitor, or the seat, the chair you're sitting in to achieve that result. So this is something that can be done, but you have to be mindful of, where are my arms in space? Am I leaning on my shoulder? Your shoulder should be neutral. You shouldn't be hiked like this with your arms being pressed up by the arm rests on the chair. You should have some kind of neck support if you're sitting for a long period of time in the chair. You can buy a cushion if your seat is not good enough at home. I always recommend a Purple cushion, the Ultimate Cushion from Purple Mattress Company. It generally is very helpful. I have them one right in the chair I'm sitting in right now. I currently have that with a small little lumbar support pillow. This is generally what I would recommend. This is what I would say you have to really assess what's going on in your work environment, in your commute, and in your home. If your home is your work environment, it makes it very difficult sometimes because, again, you have to equip things to suit your work. So this is generally what I would say, just as two examples of what happens, especially here in New York City. A lot of people, I mean, there's so many people that are driving for a living or working from home. If you're an executive or somebody who's commuting to work, your office, obviously the same things apply. Where's are your eyes level with the proper part of the screen? Do you have two monitors? Are you constantly turning your head? You might have to put them in a V formation and put them in front of you so that you don't have to constantly do this and you can just use your eyes. You can get a curved monitor, which will allow you to put your head in the middle of a large field and just use your eyes. These are things that may take time to get adapted to, but again, this is kind of where how this all works. So in terms of how we treat this, obviously you come to the office, you get an assessment. We monitor the way you're walking, the way you're sitting, the way you're standing. I can usually tell just in a few minutes how the patient may be in terms of their posture, or if their muscles are poor in one direction or another. You can usually tell, and through a physical exam, proper physical exam, you can figure out a lot of stuff. Sometimes we use the ultrasound to figure out if there's something going on in the shoulder. Otherwise, MRIs are useful. Obviously, we can get an MRI of whatever part of the body if there's a significant concern. Electromyography, EMG, or nerve conduction tests can be used to determine if there's any nerve issues, muscle issues in the body due to all these things. Long-standing, they can cause these problems. And of course, we can use diagnostic blocks, which are just injections that we do to try to determine if a problem is from a certain origin or place. So these are termed diagnostic blocks because in and of themselves, they're diagnostic for the problem that you might have. In terms of a rehab protocol, for back pain, just for the bread and butter stuff, the back pain issues that patients have, I would generally recommend things like bridges where you're laying down on the ground and basically just elevating your hips. These are primarily for like pelvic and core work. You can use one-leg marching bridges, core exercises, of which there are many types. You can use a ball. I would avoid doing just basic sit-ups. Sit-ups in and of themselves might hurt your neck, so I would generally avoid that. But there's other things you can lay flat on the back, move your legs. That'll probably work your core. You just have to be careful that your back is in the right position. Again, these are things that you should monitor, work with a professional, and/or ask a professional regarding an opinion. Personal trainers are always useful, at least for a few sessions, to try to get things correct for people that have not worked out for their entire life, which is a large majority of the population. You don't want to hurt yourself when you get back in the gym, okay? Or for your home exercises. So hip hinges are another exercise you can utilize. Again, all this stuff is on our website and on the Instagram. You can go through the videos for back pain. There's a lot of exercises related to this. You can do things like RDLs, seated good mornings. These are other exercises you can do. They're more advanced. I would start with just basic core work and bridges where you're laying on the ground. This is generally how I would have any of my patients do exercises. And there's a lumbar exercise handout on our website. You can check if you want that. And again, the Instagram has a bunch of reels that you can look over for back exercises, neck exercises, shoulder exercises. In terms of for cervical pain for your neck, again, the exercises are all posted there, but I would do things like cervical isometrics. That's basically where you're holding your hand against your head and you're pressing. You're not really moving. An isometric movement is effectively, an isometric exercise has no movement. So basically, I'm pressing into my hand in a neutral position. I'm not with my head forward. I'm going to have my head back, almost chin tucked, and you're going to press into your hand from the front, back, like this, from the side. You can use a towel later on in terms of trying to make it a little more difficult for yourself. And cervical wall slides where you're kind of up against the wall and moving your arms like this. This is also very helpful for patients. This is what I recommend for people. Sometimes I do this in between workouts myself. If my neck is a little stiff, I'll try to get my posture correct so I don't round and have my neck in the wrong position when I'm doing exercises. In terms of other things you can do, just generally reducing your forward neck posture, trying to keep yourself upright and your chin tucked. You almost want to like push your chin back. In general, that'll keep you from having that forward head posture. In terms of medications you can utilize, you can obviously speak to a medical professional. I myself use things like Celebrex, Meloxicam. These are more selective than something like ibuprofen, etc. They're more gentle on your stomach, and I tell my patients not to take this more than a few days in a row. Neuropathic medications, if you're having burning pain from your neck or your back, down your leg or arm, generally, I would recommend things like gabapentin, Cymbalta, Lyrica. There's a bunch of other medications that you can take, but these are just a few of them that I do recommend if you're having a significant problem. And also topicals, some creams that we utilize. You can buy anything over the counter, but we do use some that are diclofenac-based or combo-based with 3 or 4 medicines in them. I do send these for my patients. They tend to help a little. How much? It depends on how deep the problem of origin is. If it's something like your fingers, it's a very, very like shallow, non-deep area, then it'll probably get to it. If it's the hip or something deeper, the back, it may be more difficult to kind of get something that's topical down to the area that it's needed. You can always try to ice things, but again, the depth will be a determining factor. So I would say in general, not moving is not a good idea if you're in pain. It definitely, through the literature, if you look at the research, it does not end up helping. So if you use a brace, a back brace for more than 4 hours a day, your muscles will atrophy. If you use a soft neck collar for more than a few days for comfort, you'll end up having atrophy of the muscles of the neck, which means basically you're losing musculature in your neck or your back based on these things. And laying around is not going to do much better. So generally, we have to get people moving, and that's the purpose of our specialty of physical medicine and rehabilitation, is to get patients active, moving, and that's basically what I would recommend for all my patients. And again, the number one thing is assessing your home and office ergonomics, looking at how you're moving around inside of those spaces, either in your house, office, or in your transport, vehicle or bus or train. Sometimes if you're on the train, you might not want to sit the entire ride. You might want to force yourself to stand for a little bit to try to give your back a break. Again, standing for too long can also cause problems. So you have to alternate and find like a nice balance there. And then effectively, again, use the rehab strategies from our Instagram on our website. All of this information is free for you guys. I have taken the time to put those things there for people that are in need of help. You can look at it. There's exercises you can do. All of those have been screened by me generally. Most of them are easy to moderate difficulty. Do whatever you feel like you can. Again, any problems that you have for prolonged pain, you should seek medical attention, because there's no way to know exactly what that means in terms of pain anywhere in your body. You should have a workup by a medical professional, preferably go see your primary care doctor, and of course get a pain management consultation from someone like myself to be able to figure out what's going on in case there's something serious, just so it's not missed. God forbid, sometimes you have a shoulder pain and you order an MRI and there's something else going on, and I've had that happen multiple times, unfortunately, for people. So you don't let things go neglected. And again, like, follow, and subscribe for all our content. Look at everything that we have available to try to help yourself. And when you're facing these types of problems in terms of pain, just never give up. Do whatever you can. The number one thing is just don't stop moving. Don't stop trying to improve your muscular strength and balance. Otherwise, it's definitely not it's going to be a bleak outlook from there. Okay. Again, Dr. Muhammad Ali with Pain Free Lives. Look out for our content coming soon, guys, regarding more items just like this. Thanks. Have a good day.